Hey guys, I finally got my camera to somewhat autofocus back onto me, which is good. But how are you guys today? John, how's it going?
We're doing great. We're getting ready for a big cold snap out here in Boston. So winter is finally kind of starting to come around for us.
Oh no, I can't be dealing with. I bet you have a load of snow as well. It sounds horrible to me.
Yeah, not quite yet, but yeah, we'll see. Hopefully soon.
And Bindu, how are you doing today?
Doing very well. Weather is good here. A little gloomy though, but we are happy to have rains and this weather.
Good, good. Yeah, it's always. I feel like it's cold at the moment, and I was outside running a lot this morning, and it was very cold. But yeah, we'll look forward to February's winter February now, so it's a short month, and then it'll be spring, and then it'll be summer, and it'll be in.
But Steph, you just missed an opportunity to say that it's a little bit cloudy in your studio
Oh,
today. Come on.
I'll save it for next time.
Yeah.
John's got the puns. All right. Yeah. Well, let's get into the show. So welcome everyone to the Keys to AWS Optimization, the show where we share stories, concepts, and solutions to help you unlock your spend at AWS. My name is Stephanie Gooch, and I'm a senior commercial architect in the optics team at AWS. John?
Yeah, and my name is John Massey. I'm also a senior commercial architect working with our strategic accounts here at AWS.
Nice. So I'm super excited. We're going to be talking about one of the things near and dear to my heart, which is automation today with Bindu, and we're going to go through a story that she spoke at FinOps X last year. Shout out to FinOps Foundation running FinOps X again this summer. So go check that out if you're interested in learning more. And we'll share the link to her talk then. But we're going to be talking all about automation and sharing some best practices on that. Just as a reminder, if you're watching us live, thank you. Feel free to comment, chat, ask questions as we go. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to kind of like and subscribe, and any questions you can have in the comments. And make sure you stick around to the end because we're getting some top tips from lessons learned from Bindu in automation. So Bindu, do you want to give us a quick 1-minute origin story?
Sure. I started off my professional journey as a software engineer, and then I moved on to project management, then to hardware project management, learning about regulatory compliance, vendor management. So when I started my cloud journey with that all background, it really helped me shape up in terms of processes, in terms of understanding the culture of the mindset of engineers and all the vendors and such. So I'm really glad I went through that journey and where I am today with the cloud. Um, and in the cloud journey right now, I am managing the cloud financial management and all of the governance to put in place for my organization. And we have, in my previous organization, actually, we have already set up the automation in place. And as part of this, I have gained whatever certification that were needed to, talk cloud terminology. And when I heard about FinOps, gained all those certification to understand the culture, the mindset of engineers when we embark on the talks about the cloud financial management. So that's all. This is where I am today.
Great, great. Okay, so let's go into the automation. So do you want to give us a bit of background about what kind of automation we're talking about in this FinOps solution?
Yes, we are talking about we all know right now that our role coming into for cloud financial management is that identifying these underutilized or unused resources, and then we try to tackle them manually, but how can we automate these processes, because these are repetitive processes. The if focusing on AWS, we get these, let's say, the trusted advisor reports and such. We get all those reporting. We can do them manually. Folks are doing it manually, but is there a way to do it automated, make it repeatable, so we can think about other opportunities to make the cloud infrastructure efficient? So that idea, and also where you are in your cloud journey, right, where you are, uh, how you're managing your resource, the cloud waste, where you are, then are you ready for automation? Are you ready to set up those repeatable processes? So that's the thought that led up to the automation area in.
Yeah. The one thing you mentioned was trusted advisor. And when we were chatting before, you talked about high impact versus kind of low effort optimization. Do you want to explain a bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. So these trusted advisor reported gives good reporting around underutilization and unused resources. But with the mindset, I would start off with that. Okay, identify your highest spend BU in terms of usage and the high spend services in terms of cloud spend. Once you have that intersect figured out, then what you need to do is all these different underutilization reports that are coming in, put them into and prioritize them into effort versus impact. What happens is, let me give you three examples. Let's say unassociated elastic IPs, those are less effort jobs which you can tackle, and the impact of it in terms of cost is also not that significant. Let's talk about unused EBS volumes. Those are very high impact in terms of dollar amount, but the effort that goes into deleting those volume is low. So prioritize those. Then the other one is the stopping EC2 instances. Now, the effort that goes into identifying, finding that, do we need to, can we stop those resources is high, but at the same time, its impact is also high. So make sure you put them in those quadrants before you go and run those initiatives.
And Bindu, I'm curious. I think this is probably something that is factored into, like a level of effort type piece. But I'm just curious on your thought on like also risk, right? Is there a risk component to that where there might be something that's potentially high impact, maybe relatively easy to act on, but could have risk to an application or a customer experience. Is that something that you had factored in as well?
Very good question. I'll give you an example, but not an impact on customer experience, but an impact on our engineering infrastructure, our organization infrastructure. I talked about unassociated elastic IPs and then having them that, it's a low impact and low effort. But, as an organization, and this is especially the case of, let's say, a gov cloud, right? You need to have these IPs allocated for that particular gov cloud account. So we have to make sure that we do not touch them. They might not be used for even months, but we cannot touch them because they are allocated, they are under SLAs. So be mindful when I talk about, just put them into effort versus impact and start running your, cleanup. Be mindful that you have reached out to the owners, your SLAs, your customer obligation. Be aware, and that's part of all like FinOps communication, right? That be communicative in your cloud business office that this is upcoming, and reach out to the owners and say that, okay, we are going to delete these. Again, going back to my elastic IP example. I hope that answers your question, right? Be mindful of.
Yeah, and I think one of the pieces you mentioned that really stuck out to me there was, having that feedback from those engineers and the app owners. Because if you're looking at that trusted advisor list, you might be missing that piece that, hey, this elastic IP is something that's really critical to this specific workload. Correct. Maybe not another one. So yeah, that communication piece, that's a good call out.
Yeah, I didn't know that about Gov. I'm a firm. If anyone listens to me talk about elastic IPs, I'm always like, just delete them, get rid of them. No one's using them. But I didn't know that, so now I'm just gonna. None of my customers are Gov. Don't worry. But yeah, cool. All right, let's.
Lucky.
Yes, yeah. I'm always just like delete them. Okay, so let's go into your actual solution. So, do you want to give us an overview of what your automation solution that you put into place was?
Yes, and again, with the background of communication, collaboration, this is what was put in place that we will go, the design of the automation framework was, we will identify these validating resources, and we will go and inform the owners. Oh, thanks. This helps me. We'll go and inform the owners. This will be done on the first of the month.
Mhm.
And these violating resources will be tagged with a delete tag. Let's just say, for an example, the delete tag, just the word delete. And then weekly, the notification will be sent out. The same report will be sent out for all these different services to the owners. So, if someone is on PTO or it just got missed, they can go back and they are receiving the weekly notifications.
Mhm.
Then at the end of the month, all these delete tagged resources we will get the confirmation that, okay, are these resources are okay to delete or not. And only after that confirmation, these tagged resources will be deleted. And the once, if an owner comes back that do not delete my particular resource, then we tag it with this another special tag. And in our deletion script, the remediation script, those will be ignored. And
Mhm.
the other ones which are not marked with this special tag will be all deleted at the end of the month. And that is another report generated of what all tags, what all resources are deleted, and wherever estimated cost where we can get that information, that will be captured. And this is all put into S3 bucket. So in the end, we can also do some calculation around how much estimated savings were from this automation on a monthly basis.
Very cool. I mean, go on, John.
Well, I was just going to say, I love that feature of being able to allow users to opt out and say, hey, this is going to be we're going to define a policy around this. You can opt out if you want, but by default, we're going to start enforcing these tags that will then have some subsequent action. I think that that seems like it's something that lands very well with customers versus the, hey, this is going to happen whether you like it or not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's definitely a good point. Like, one of the things I like about it is you're taking the effort off of people. So one thing we talk a lot about, and we might touch a bit more later on, is developers to take action. Is this constant concept of like getting people to do stuff. And this is a good example of like, you don't have to like get a computer to do it, get Lambdas to do it. And I love that. That's just a simple. And I wonder, like, do you have any idea, like, roughly off the top of your head, you probably might not remember, I don't know if you remember the exact numbers, but how often someone actually said, no, don't delete that? Was it quite common, or was it more, oh yeah, that's fine kind of answers?
There were different responses. If developers are working on some POC, or they are, they are constantly innovating, right? They are in their sandbox. They'll come back. Can you just ignore it in this cycle and then recapture? Because the automation cycle will run next month. It will have that ignore tag on that particular resource. So we can go back and ask, are you ready to delete it now? And then it will pick it up in the next cycle. And but I would say could be 50-50. Yeah. Sometimes it also gives them that, oh yeah, oh, it was there, oh, please delete it.
Yeah.
So it's embarrassing, get rid of that.
Yeah.
That's another good point that I think one thing we've seen with customers is that sometimes just seeing that list, they might not be aware, but if there's, any kind of Lambda function or there's some automation behind the scenes that's creating that list for them that they can just scan through, it can be a little bit of an eye opener and maybe even help them identify what's leading to those resources being in that state.
Correct. And then, it also helps them like, okay, I can just now focus. I have my automation script running always to take care of in case I forget not to tackle that particular resource. So yes, it's a win-win situation.
I'm curious if there were any reactions the first time it ran and folks saw that report that, listed out the resources. Did you have an expectation going into it around what the savings potential might be, before, the rules engine had run the first time? And were there any reactions when folks got that list of, hey, these resources ended up on the delete list, this is what the savings potential might be?
So both. First of all, we had good back and forth. I would say we had spent good quarter in with some sandbox and some development accounts back and forth in finessing the report. Like they needed, what information do they need, right? In that report, the account information, the resource ID, the on and region and such. And the cost information was always estimated. I could not give them the exact cost. And then that was always a disclaimer out there. Um, so, in terms of reporting, we got it to perfection that, okay, this, it was very well structured. They need this information, it was provided. In terms of cost, I would say we could always hit the double digit percentage. So, like 10% and above in terms of cost savings. And I was happy with it because, this is automation. I think I should mention this was the automation of trusted advisor reports that we were gathering month over month. But other than that, there was always some manual work on the other areas of cost optimization. So just the whatever about 7, 8 checks that we could automate from trusted advisor.
Nice. And I'm just going to throw up here, because I didn't do it earlier, this is the link to the FinOps talk. So if you want to hear the full in-depth conversation or presentation, then check that out, and it'll be in the show notes below. But yeah, I was going to say one of the other cool things is that you're using an AWS service to get these recommendations. You're kind of taking that, and that's kind of good, and then using that low effort thing. And it's very cool. And I have a question. When the tag, so you put this delete tag on the resource, is that a permanent tag, or does that disappear after a month? So if they say leave it, does the tag get removed?
So delete tag is applied on a resource, on all the identified resources, right, that we think are the candidate for deletion. And the one that we got the confirmation on, the resources deletes, the tag is gone. But the other ones where we have the special tag, so the script, it is a permanent tag on that delete, but the script, it first checks that does it have a special tag. And if it has a special tag, then it will ignore the delete tag. But at the same time, it will help us to generate a report to other in the subsequent months that give us the information of the resources which have the special tag and the delete tag, so we can reach out on those special tag owners that can it be deleted this time, this automation cycle run.
Did the delete tag, was it just as simple as like a delete yes or no, or did it contain any kind of like timestamping or any other details like that?
No timestamping. The timestamping was just the cron job at the end of the month when the remediation script will run. It will just delete a resource.
Very cool.
But the confirmation, so it was all socialized in the well communicated, a good quarter spent in terms of communicating that automation is upcoming, and this is the design we are proposing, and to all the engineering leadership. And then they were asked to go and propagate it through in their staff meeting to all the owners, deep down to the engineer, that okay, the automation is coming and this is the proposed workflow. So it was very well, and then it was enforced, and it enforced in the sense that communication, that getting the yay or nay from the engineering leadership, that have you communicated, do you have any feedback, or should we push back, any of those things.
I have a real follow-up question on that concept, but I wanted to suggest something. Is like, if anyone else is thinking of doing this, one thing that you could also use, I don't know if you did this, Bindu, is if you have those tags on the instance, sorry, we're going to use Elastic IPs. You'll probably, if you have them as a cost allocation tag, you'll see them in the cur. So you could always do this review as well at the end of the month saying, oh, all these resources didn't get deleted and this is how much it costs them. And that's not to like say, oh, you did a bad job, because like you said, people are doing like proof of concepts, or maybe they're just in a downtime, or in Gov, you need to keep those resources. But it would be interesting to have that, like, well, we told you to delete it and you didn't delete it, and this is how much. And so those reviews could be an interesting concept as well.
Correct.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Bindu.
No, I was just saying, yeah, good point. Yeah.
My mind was starting to go to that place, Steph, where, then you could look at also, time series view and like Cost Explorer and say, hey, do we want to increase the frequency of the run on this? What's the cost implication of letting those processes run on a 30-day cycle versus maybe a weekly or a 2-week? Yeah, a lot of cool data that you got my gears turning on now.
Yeah, now we're just like, we'll meet you after, John.
We're ready for the next hackathon, I think.
So I wanted to go back to what you were saying about the idea of all the kind of stakeholders involved with this. And I think a lot of people will probably have this kind of question is, you've obviously seen such good success, but you had to get that buy-in first to make this kind of happen. So if someone out there is hoping to do this in their business, could you give them an insight into how you got everyone to agree to do this?
Yeah, sure. What we started off is bringing, we were mature enough in terms of our follow-ups with engineering and doing all these, remediation, in the sense manually remediation activities through Jira tickets, and showing them charts, how we are doing in our cost savings from all these, cloud cleanup. So we thought now is a good time. We are ready for automation. We can automate all these. So we brought this idea in our Cloud Center of Excellence meeting. And in that, when it was proposed, it was, okay, come back, what you're proposing, like give them some kind of workflow. So the flow chart that you displayed, I had put it in a Word format, not in this flow chart format. So I did get back and forth in that process, that, okay, we want, and that's when that enforcement came in, that, okay, can you make sure that you reach out to the owners, that yes, a resource can be deleted. And the other good feedback that came was that instead of sending the notification out just once a month, send it weekly. So, again, I talked about it, if someone was on PTO or it falls through the crack. And the other thing also that came about was, instead of just owner there, have we have resource owner, we have account owner, so have more than one email in your notification, so that if someone goes for 6-week vacation, so someone else can look at it and it just not deleted. So many good things came from it. So it was a good collaboration between engineering and us, and finance was very happy.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, there's just a great story of, the collaboration thing is always big, and we try and do that.
And I also want to say the communication and also the visibility, because we talked about these processes will be, this is a repeated process. So anything we find, it's all automated. It's giving you efficiency, giving us, the FinOps team, efficiency, that we don't have to do it manually, and giving engineering an efficiency that, okay, they do not have to go through my emails weekly or semi-weekly or monthly, that, oh, can you take care of this, or the Jira is still open. So it's also giving them some time, or it's not taking up their time on those activities, and they can focus on their development and new features and grow.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is, I've got to say, you're showing us a really good example of how to do FinOps well, and I'm just very impressed. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go give this video to a lot of my customers, and guys out there, if anyone is doing this kind of stuff as well, we'd love to hear from you. Cost optimization at Amazon.com. Just hear stories or any success things is very cool. But yeah, okay. So I wanted to ask as well, do you have any really good success stories or lessons learned from this experience?
Success stories was monthly that, we were showing we are
Saving.
making good progress, we are saving money, and we were tracking it in terms of potential cost savings from tackling the cloud base by the whole cloud spend. So that metrics or that KPI was also happy. Lesson learned, I would say, one is, I think this is a personal lesson learned that I want to
Mhm.
mention. Going into this, I was so prepared that there'll be pushback. There'll be pushback from engineering, and I was thinking of all questions that will be thrown out my way, and preparing to the responses. And I went in. It became more collaborative effort. They were giving me ideas. Oh, can you send it more the notification more often? Can you add these special tag if you want to ignore during one particular month run and such? So, I need to tell myself that, it's not always that we need to follow up with engineering, and we need to go up with this mindset that, oh, engineering will not be happy with this. So that was one personal lesson learned, that it's not always that engineering will push back. And the in terms of engineering, again, they were very happy. They can focus on innovation. They can focus on more, the feature development. They were very happy, and all these reports that we were generating weekly, monthly, the analysis report, and at the end of the month, the remediation report, they were all very nicely formatted and very formal reports. So they were
Mhm.
all very happy in terms of all that. The other thing, the next step could have been is to, integration of it with Jira and such. So that is also some work pending there. But that's what I would say in terms of lesson learned.
I mean, I think that's just a great message for folks too, because even my mind went there. What kind of objections did you encounter? Were folks, concerned about the actions taken? But it sounds like really once you had the trust of those engineers, they were excited to collaborate on it. And Steph, you had mentioned earlier, it's taking work off their plate from manually remediating. They can focus on bigger priorities, and it's I think that's just a great takeaway
Yeah.
from all of it, and good lesson for folks that are out there listening.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've got 1 minute left. Bindu, is there anything that you wanted to say that you didn't get to say at FinOps X that you want to finish off with?
I would say, I gave all the information from my side of the story, right? How to, if you're starting off manually, there are other ways that, you can do some semi automation through AWS budget alerts and anomaly detection, AWS instance scheduler. And then if you have automation in place, I gave you my workflow. But if out there, if folks are doing something else around automation or optimization, please share it with me. I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to, enhance and improve the FinOps practice and my knowledge. So please collaborate with me. That's what I would say.
That is excellent, and I'll just throw up really quickly your LinkedIn on the thing. So if anyone wants to reach out, get on LinkedIn, or if you're in the FinOps Foundation, then FinOps Foundation swag, then you can catch both of us in the Slack channel. So yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing your story. This has been so just insightful, but also like a really good standard for us to share with our customers. Thank you so much. And thank you for watching. We'll be back next week. We're talking to Cloud Academy all about cloud education when it comes to cost optimization. So we'll see you guys next week, and have a good weekend. Thanks.
Thank you,
Bye.
Steph. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank
Absolutely
you,
fine.
Bindu.
Bye.